Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Jeremy Sutton, owner of Servant PT, host of the Servant PT podcast. Help people 50 and over live a life full of health, family, and fun through exercise and motivation. Today, it's rainy and cold, so I'm trying to get a little bit motivated before I jump out into this wet weather and go in the clinic and try to help some people feel better today. Been listening to a book called The One Thing, and I really have enjoyed it, and it's really a good book for me to listen to because I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but I struggle with saying no and trying to focus on too many things at once. Let me know if you struggle with that too. But listen to this book and finished it up this morning, and a couple of things that the author talked about really stuck out to me today. And one thing he said was, I told this story about this little boy who crawled up in his dad's lap and said, "Dad, we don't spend enough time together." And the dad said, "Yes, son, I know. How about tomorrow, Saturday? We'll spend all day together." So Dad got up the next morning. The little boy went to bed super excited. Dad got up a little bit earlier so he could have his morning coffee, read the business page. And to his surprise, his son got up at the same time. So, "Dad, I'm ready to play." And so Dad said, "Well, I really want to read my business page." So there was a picture of the world. It was an ad. He tore it into pieces and gave it to his son. He said, "Hey, let's do this puzzle. As soon as you get this puzzle done, then we'll go outside and play." So the dad said, "Great." Son said, "Great." Dad started to read his paper again. Son interrupted him again and said, "Dad, I'm finished." And he said, "How did you get that done so quickly?" He said, "Well, I was going to give up. I dropped a piece on the floor, and I looked under the bent over to pick it up, and I looked, and the table was glass top, and I could see a picture of a man on the other side." And he said, "I was going to give up. It was too hard, but when I put the man together, the world came together as well." And so I thought that was a really cool story. And then he goes on to talk about how we're the number one domino in our story and in our lives. And what he means by that, what I mean by that is, if ourselves aren't together, if we're not together as a person, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, then it's hard to go out into the world. It's hard to know your purpose. It's hard to fulfill your purpose and get a lot of things done. If we're constantly working on ourselves we are constantly working on ourselves. We're all a work in progress. But what I mean is if we don't know, if we haven't given ourselves permission to be happy, if we haven't given ourselves permission to be successful in different things, and that's successful doesn't always mean money or business. It means spiritually, emotionally, with your family and things like that. I think there's different success in different areas of life, but it starts with us. Like, we're the number one domino. If we have to be in tune with what we need to be doing. We have to be in tune with who we are and what we want out of life. And if we're not, then it's going to be hard to know which direction you're going in and what you stand for. I've heard tons of people say this and say, you can say yes to a lot of things, but eventually you have to stop and you have to know your reasoning why. And so this is actually in a podcast that I did. Paul Reiser told me this is, know what your why is and have a strong enough why that you can say no when somebody says something, asks you to do something. Because the reality is people are going to ask you to do things that aren't bad. You're going to be asked to volunteer at church. You're going to be asked to volunteer at work and in the community and give to different charities. And how many thousands or millions of charities are there? But I can't give to every single one of them. I can only give to one or two or three or four. Whatever I'm going to do. But it's okay to say no to those other ones because we're giving somewhere else. It's okay to say no to people that come in your office and ask for money. I mean, hasn't happened in a while, but there's usually at least once a month there's somebody that comes in, wanting money for something, whatever it is, to raise money for, a yearbook or a softball team or something in the community or whatever it is. And you can't give to all that stuff. You can give to, or I can't. I can give to some of it, but I can't give to everything. And so I have to know what I'm going to give to, why, what's my reasoning, and then just not feel guilty about those things because we can't do everything. But if I don't have myself put together, if I don't know what I stand for, if I don't know what my goals are, what my limits are, then it's hard to be able to say no to people and feel confident about it. I don't want to say no to somebody and then be miserable all day because I told somebody I couldn't help them. I mean, I need to know why I couldn't help them or why I didn't want to help them or whatever the reason. But I have to have this first domino fixed first, you know. And now, like, I'm not saying that we have to be perfect, that we have to have all our things figured out, if we have to know every little aspect about everything we do. But if you know why you're here, what your purpose is, where you're going, why you're going there, then it makes it a whole lot easier to go. And we talk about a roadmap. I try to do that with all my patients, is say, hey, this is where you are, this is where we're going, this is how we're going to get there. If you're in the car and you know where you're going, then you get there a lot quicker. If I got in my car every day and I didn't know I was driving to Vivian, to the clinic, I might just drive around all day. I'd run out of gas. I'd get frustrated. Wouldn't be very productive. But I know who I am. I know where I'm from. I know where I'm going. So it makes it a whole lot easier to get there and to do the things I need to do. So just remember, you are the first domino in things fall into place in your life. And you get to decide, within a amount of reason, where you're going and what you're doing. Ultimately, I believe that God is in control of our lives, and I'm a Christian, and so I know that He, I can make plans, but He can show me where I need to go and what I need to do. But we have to be in place. We have to be in tune with that to know. And it's been funny, like with our church burning down a few weeks ago. We had plans to renovate, but they may not have been, may not have started for, at least in 2019, maybe in the middle of 2019, we would have started renovating church, redoing some things. But I mean, one Monday morning we woke up and the church was burning. So pretty much God stepped up our renovation plans to that day. And it stinks. We didn't want our church to burn down, but our church had made plans of what to do, on how to renovate, when to start, what things to do first. But God said, let's just do it this way. So we know we can make plans, but ultimately God's in control of what's going to happen. So guys, I hope that was helpful this morning. Hope y'all have an amazing week and a happy new year, and I love y'all, and happy